138B. It was delivered to Qantas in 1964, and then as they cycled it out of service, it came to the U.S., and it was operated by an airline that is out of the past, the Braniff Airlines. Well, it brings us back a lot of memories because early on, when I got a break in aviation, we started out flying the piston-powered aircraft, and then the turboprop aircraft. That's a jet engine with a prop cranked on the front with a reduction gearbox. But this was my first jet. It was operated by McCulloch International Airlines, who operated 707s and 720Bs. We got to go to school at American Airlines with the big boys, and this is an airplane a guy will never forget. This was, of course, the civilian version of the military aircraft, which Boeing calls the 717. You know it as the KC-135 series of refueling aircraft. The big V on the tail stands for the word Vanus. It's a Latin word that means fan. V was painted on both the tail and the nacelles. By airline standards, this is a very low-time airframe, and we measure the life of airplanes by the amount of hours on the engines and on the fuselage. And this 707 only has 30,000 hours of time in the air. Now, that's very low for a long-range aircraft of this vintage. A lot of the aircraft we're seeing now have 60, 70, 80, 90,000 hours and some even more on them, and are still actively flying. Now, there is a telltale sign that it is the older generation jet, and that is what's obliterating our view of the jet. It is the engines. All of the commercial airliners that we have in the U.S. that are flying freight or flying passengers have gone through that stage 3 requirement mandated by the FAA for the turn of this century, that is the year 2000, that all engines will not emit this type of smoke in commercial use. Also, they will have a decibel level or a hush kit on board, or an engine change from perhaps a Pratt & Whitney engine to a GE engine to keep the noise footprint down for the neighbors. John Glenn and John Travolta taking a, hey, look at this. They're just taking a Sunday flight. You know, Rob, you and I go up in the Piper Cub, go around, see things, see the lakes, and talk about flying, and that's all that John Travolta and John Glenn are doing. A greaser landing, tough to do. A nice, nice landing. But of course, when the boss is on board, you want to just take all the time in the world.